Hi, today we start our topic on real estate. Real estate is an exceedingly important investment class as it often represents the single biggest investment in many individuals' lives. Real estate includes land and buildings and water rights and trees. There are many different reasons why people buy and develop real estate. It starts with building homes, whether they be single family dwellings or multi-unit developments for two or more families, and can number hundreds or even thousands of units. Then there is a class of industrial real estate developed mainly for business purposes. It could be a singly occupied office building or one with many business tenants. It could be a series of buildings. It could be a mall or a strip mall. It could be farmland designed to produce food and other agricultural products like cotton and tobacco. Land can include forests and waterways. Once you think of real estate as the land and what lays on it or is built on the land. Sometimes the actual owner of the land might lease the right to build on the land for a term, often lengthy. But most like to own the land and everything on the land. Retail companies like Sears, JCPenney, and Kmart are examples of companies that would buy land in a researched location and then build a store. Other times such companies might merely rent a building or space in a mall. In general, real estate is dramatically present in our life. Unfortunately, it is misunderstood, and that causes grief. I would like to start with an individual who wishes to buy a house as a residence. Now, as I emphasized in the previous topic, buying a home to live in is a hybrid decision satisfying a necessity, housing, and investing in the future. The distinction should be understood between necessity buying of a house as a residence and someone who exclusively buy a house as an investment, because that distinction might alter the choices for one's purchase of a house. When one buys a residence, to make the best decision of what works for them, one has to consider a multitude of factors. It starts with location, country, state, city, town, municipality, neighborhood, and all that. Clearly, where one wants to live can dramatically vary from one person to another. Then people have to consider the importance of things like convenience of transportation, public or otherwise, access to commercial establishments like supermarkets, retail stores, banks, and the rest. The quality of medical care available should rank high in the list, as does education if children are involved. It goes without saying the importance of choosing a location that is conveniently located relative to the places where members of the household might be working is important. And that can be a tough choice when different household members work, say, 50 miles apart. So lots of quality of life decisions are in play when choosing the proper place as a residence. And since much of this is a reflection of taste and values, then one can understand that the decision to choose a home as an investment for rental purposes might lead to an entirely different choice, since it becomes less important to appeal to your own taste and values and more to general norms of the masses, the target renters of your investment, or potentially a future purchaser of your property. For example, if you're a person who goes everywhere by car, then the convenience of public transportation might not be important to you. But to the masses, it usually is. The masses consider being close to public transportation and other signs of civilization as very important. If you would like to attract a broad class of renters, you have to consider these things. Just because you might overemphasize or underemphasize certain conditions important to you as a resident, as residing in a home, this is less of a factor in buying a home as an investment where the home will be used by someone else. Now, this is just the beginning of the battle of choosing the right property. While we're considering these already mentioned factors, there is another factor of prime importance, and that is the price of the property. In general, people are price conscious, and they need to be. Since we are price conscious in our everyday lives in purchasing things like a haircut or lunch, why will we not be extremely price conscious in perhaps the largest purchase of our lives? In fact, we usually are. Now, I look at there being two prices for each property, what I call the objective price and the subjective price. The objective price is an estimate of the value of the property to society in general, or in other words, to the masses, which means that the objective price would be in the range of what people generally might pay for the property. Now, the listed price, in fact, might be quite a bit higher, as a seller always wants to sell at the highest price possible, but it takes two to tango. So unless there is a buyer who values an overpriced property very highly subjectively, then the property will likely not transact at that overpriced offer. In time, this would force the seller to reduce the price to something that might transact. The subjective price is what the property is worth to an individual. The purchaser, assuming you were going to live in it, your subjective price is what matters. Your tastes are such that what you might be willing to pay according to your own taste might be less than what others would pay. Thus, if you are exclusively buying a property as a residence, you might be able to get a good deal for your taste, but you could be giving up something in terms of investment value. The dilemma some face is how much weight should one give to one's taste and catering to the personal residence value, and how much weight should be given to the potential future market value of the home and or rental value of the home, both of which are key factors to finding the right price for you. That's a challenge. Thank you.